How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about former U.S. President Barack Obama endorsing the current Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau in the upcoming election for his re-election. That'll be on Monday, October 21st of 2019. Now, there is a whole lot to quote-unquote unpack here, as the cool kids would say. But first, let's address what is, in my humble opinion, the elephant in the room, or at least one of a couple of elephants in the room. Barack Obama, how are you endorsing this man who put on blackface several times? Okay, now the media wanted to say that the first instance that we saw, which was the quote unquote Aladdin outfit at a party, was a brown face and it was a costume, this, that, and the third. But if you look at the picture on the screen before you, yes, it's in black and white, probably because it was taken from a yearbook, because at the time he was a teacher, he was like 30 years old, but we'll move on. The quote unquote brown face looks very dark to me. You know, I mean, obviously I'm black, my skin's not that dark, and I'm darker than what quote unquote Aladdin would look like. So why does he have the pitch black body paint on? I mean, to the point where he got his hands and everything. He was really dedicated to the whole thing. Okay. And he was not just some kind of young kid or whatever. He was a grown man working, probably had kids, the whole 9 yards. Now, he did do the whole blackface thing when he was young, a separate situation where he had like the whole thing. He had some inappropriate things going on that I won't talk about, but he also had like the entire body paint, making faces, sticking his tongue out. I don't know who he thought he was, if he was Michael Jordan or just trying to be disrespectful. I don't know what's going on, but Justin Trudeau apparently likes, or past tense liked, to put on blackface to look like somebody that he's not. I mean, to me, I can't really say I care. I'm not really offended, you know, because my thing about Justin Trudeau is that he wears blackface. It's part of what he does. I've seen him wear different outfits, all this, that, and the third, you know, looking like he's from the Indian subcontinent, China, and other European places. So that's kind of what he does. Maybe he's into cosplay. I don't really know what's going on. I'm not in that man's personal life. All I'm saying is that I personally am not offended. However, a guy like Trudeau and a guy like Barack Obama and those that support them, the liberal left that claim to be so tolerant and loving and this, that, and the third, they would say that the blackface is racist, it's inappropriate. It is what they call it, cultural vulturing, cultural appropriation, all kind of stuff like that. I guess it don't really count when somebody that you like is doing a thing that you consider racist when a person you don't like does it. But for now, I digress. Barack Obama's quote unquote interference in a foreign election is hilarious to me. I'm seeing Donald Trump get accused of intervening in foreign affairs and you can't really do it and all this and that, but he can do it and it's fine. Now, of course, he's not a sitting U.S. president. I get it. But the hypocrisy here, it just can't really be understated. It's been 100 years since a former U.S. president did something like this, and that might have been Roosevelt back in 1917. He went to Toronto to support an election based on conscription because he was in support of it. So you're talking like, what, 102 years since a thing like this has happened? It's been quite a long time, and it's interesting the timing of it because you have a U.S. election happening right now, and Barack Obama's former vice president, Joe Biden, is running for president. In some circles, he's seen as a front runner. And before, he had to go out on stage and speak and really reveal himself to not really be all the way there. The screws were a little bit loose. Before that, he was the far and away clear front runner. So why was there no endorsement for your former vice president for 8 years, Joe Biden? I don't really understand. All right. Oh, you don't want to interfere, but you want to interfere in a foreign election. But what about stateside, what's happening right here? You don't mind inserting yourself into American politics. You don't mind talking about what Trump is doing. You don't mind having a show or a series of shows on Netflix, which you produce with your wife, where you put in political things and you trying to steer the conversation a certain kind of way. You don't mind having a presence on social media where you're able to put out stuff. You don't mind still living in Washington, D.C., although you're from quote unquote Chicago, Indonesia, but I digress. You don't mind still staying there and involving yourself in the DC swamp politics, but you draw the line when it comes to endorsing a presidential candidate. It's very interesting. AOC is going to endorse Bernie Sanders. Who are you going to endorse? Barack Obama. And why would you endorse somebody in Canada with the quote unquote racist past? To me, I don't really care about the blackface and all of that. It's no big deal. But to them on the left, apparently they do. And it's weird how the right gets accused of racism all the time from the left, but it is the left that does the blackface, that does the racist stuff, that endorses racist groups. I'm just having a hard time keeping track of who is the real racist, who are the real racists, and who are not. It's kind of difficult, but at the same time, as I close, it's not really that hard. I understand who the real racists are and who they aren't. Those that constantly harp about racism and sexism and homophobicism, all the other obic obes in this, tend to be the ones that are doing it the most. When they keep harping on it and talking about it, it's just projection. All right. You want to put that label on someone else to shield away from what you're doing yourself. Okay. You're the one with the blackface past. You're the one that may have said a few N-words in your past or whatever. That's you. Okay. And you feel guilty about it. You don't want nobody to know. You want to kind of lessen the impact. So you just put it on somebody else that has no kind of racism in their background. You want to blame Donald Trump. You want to say he's a racist, but it's you that actually, when you look at the physical record of your life, you have the record of being a racist according to your own standards. It's crazy. The sword that you have forged will now be the one you fall on. That will go for Justin Trudeau. He might lose against the quote unquote conservative. And the reason why I say quote unquote is because I heard that there were no conservatives in Canadian politics, but I digress. You, Justin Trudeau, have forged the sword upon which you may fall and lose against your conservative counterpart in the election, Andrew Scheer. Barack Obama, same thing. You're not going to be able to have anybody on your side when maybe you know it. That's why you have not endorsed anybody. That could be the reason. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. At the end of the day, as I close, I love stories like this. It just reveals the hypocrisy of the left. And like I've said many times before, without double standards, Democrats would have no standards. And that's pretty much all I got. What say you? Do you think that Barack Obama was right to endorse Justin Trudeau? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. Or was he wrong to endorse him? Was he wrong based upon his own standards and his own previous statements? How are you going to endorse this man that put on the blackface and, you know, just gallivanted around, sticking his tongue out, acting crazy, even up until the point where he was a fully grown man with a job and a family and the whole 9 yards? Okay, it's no excuse for what he did in the mind of Justin Trudeau if that person happened to be on the right. But since it's him, but since he's on the left and he is the chosen one, the golden child, then nobody can say anything against him. Whatever he does is all right. Hey, I apologize. I'm sorry. Let's keep moving on. And we're going to fight against the real race. This is what we're going to do. It's absurd. It's crazy. But like I said, let this be a lesson to anybody that's out there, left, right, whatever, about how the left operate. Do as I say, not as I do. But whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.